Hi YouTube, it's Catherine Michelle. Just an update on what's happening over in the Philippines. And I'm covering the Philippines because I don't really hear a lot about it on the news, and we all know what's happening here in America. Well, people should know. It's all over the news. But anyway, kind of 2 days to get caught up on. On the 23rd, they had 462 cases. And one of the persons was infected while they were in the U.S. That was their only travel. They were fine before they left, came to the U.S. By the time they got back, they were infected. And they had 33 dead as of the 23rd. And I had to mention this to the person I was talking to. I said, I don't believe in coincidences, never have, but it is interesting to me because they even did that here in Colorado. It always makes the news headlines when 33 people die. I've seen it in so many countries, so many states. We all know the magic number 33. So I've been keeping an eye on that, and yeah, we know. Now today, the 24th going on over there. Okay, they had 462 cases on the 23rd, and today they have 502 cases, still 33 dead, but they did have 19 people recovered, so that's really good. In fact, their recovery rate is better than ours here in the U.S. It's kind of scary. But the other main thing is out there is that now they've had 4 physicians die from COVID-19, 3 from their main hospital and 1 from a heart center facility. So that's a specialty doctor. 4 physicians to die in such a short period of time is not good. They don't have a lot of doctors out there like we have here, and they've lost 4 of them already. And so far they have 1 city out there, Antipolo City. Now I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but anyway, that is the only city that doesn't have any cases whatsoever. And I believe in the Philippines, I don't know if it's just on that island, but and the main reason what they're attributing the no cases to is because they're, I don't know, who do they call that? I don't know if they're called a mayor or whatever, but the person who's head of that city out there, as soon as they heard about the COVID-19, and I guess when it was coming to the Philippines or close or whatever, they shut their entire city down right away. They just locked it down. And right now they're the only place out there that doesn't have any cases. So that social distancing seems to be working really well for them. And something I think a lot of people have known for a long time. I mean, this is not news that should be a big surprise to anybody. We saw this, in China, and I will dispute China's numbers all along because as I've been following this and tracking the responses and what they started building up compared to what they were saying as far as who was dead, didn't add up. When they had 200, I talked about this in another video when they said they only had 200 people die. And again, 200 is still 200 too many. But they, when only 200 people were dead and they were putting in 20 new crematoriums and the hospitals were freaking out, their nursing staff was hysterical and screaming, you have people screaming. Well, and when you average that out, because they have 49 crematoriums with only 200, that's not quite 2 people extra for that day to go to each individual crematorium, which has multiple furnaces. Okay, this is what I'm saying. This is why the numbers are not right. And why they lied about this, I don't know. And why is anybody else lying about it? I don't know. I don't know. And again, there's still information being spread that, again, this is not a big deal. The numbers are skewed and they're not correct and they're not adding up and blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh. You can tell these are people who probably never passed their math class. But it's incorrect information. Right now, the way that this is spreading is for every person that has it, it can be anywhere from 2.6 people up to as many. I think one person infected close to 30 people. So there's a huge gap. I guess they're saying the average in most places, it's almost 3 people. So one person has it and they'll infect 3 more. And then, but see, when you look at that exponential growth, I mean, that grows exponentially very quickly compared to the flu, where I think it's 1 or just below 1. So if one person gets it, one person. So for every 3 people, like you have it and you get 3 on down the line or whatever, it's just very minimal compared to what this SARS-CoV-2 is doing. And that is what makes this so scary. It's interesting how the people who are poo-pooing what this pandemic and who are saying that this is all a lie, it's just some big scam. They're not. You are hearing this from the people who are not on the front lines fighting this. The people who are actually on the front lines, the doctors, the nurses, the hospital staff. You hear them, and I have not heard one of them saying that this was not real and it was just some joke and it was overrated. Every single hospital from every single city that has been majorly hit has been begging every other country, please take these precautions. People are dying. And the old saying, this only affects older people, is that vernacular has to go away. Again, the statistics have proven for quite some time now that this affects everybody. I mean, I think the youngest children even get it, but I don't know if any of them have died. But we're talking teenagers, 20, 30, 40-year-olds are dying. Here, where I'm at, I believe, if I remember the statistics correctly, but it's not just here, you can look it up anywhere. But the vast majority of people who are being hospitalized are from the ages of, say, 30 to 44. That's the big group. And the higher death rates are within that age range. In fact, the 80 plus are actually doing pretty darn good for now. But this is what I'm saying. So don't just assume that if you're younger, you're going to be okay. There's no guarantee. People who are very healthy get this and they die. People who are very old and have other health issues will sometimes survive. So don't assume anything and don't think you're perfectly safe because the news media or statistics given out at any certain point led you to believe that your demographic was safe, because nobody right now is safe. And again, to stress this, those who get it, those who don't won't. But I pray to God eventually you do. I pray you get it sooner than later. Get the understanding, that is. But this is so serious because of how it spreads, how quickly it spreads, how long it lasts when it lands on a certain type of surface. The harder the surface, the longer it lives. It's just a real nasty bug. This is the type of bug. When I was in nursing school, I remember our instructor, professor, whatever you want to call him, he, as soon as on our first day of class for anatomy and physiology, he's just like, why are you guys going into this field? You do realize that you're going to be the ones who are going to be facing this more than likely one day, some new virus or whatever. And there's a lot of data out there that says that maybe this isn't so new, and that still has yet to be seen and to be proven. But I've seen a lot of I've read a lot of articles about this that lead you down the path that this might not have been just a big oops. This could be, not saying it is, but could have been a very deliberate act. Not saying by which country, because we don't know. We just don't know. But anyway, so please take it seriously. Listen to the doctors. If you really want to know, if you're one of the people who are following the mindset that this is being overplayed, overrated, it's just some big scam to get everybody to fall in line for martial law, Start watching the videos of the doctors who are handling this. In order for that theory to be true, every single hospital, every single medical personnel, every single person who has died, every single person who's been affected, every single country, every single government has to be in on this. We're talking billions of people. If you're talking about the entire thing, I'm not talking about just people who have it. They all have to be in on this. And the old, do you know anybody who has this question? What is the purpose of that? I find that question ignorant and irresponsible. I do know people with this. And I know people who have this. I have friends in the medical field who tell me people who have this. It's not, I don't know what it's going to take for some people to finally get it. And I know the gentleman on Peak Prosperity keeps saying that some people are slow to respond, and everyone has to do this at their own pace and accept it and process it at their own pace. But you know what? I think it's time you get a swift kick in your backside. Your time for procrastination and having your time allowed to get you to get this, it's over. Because wake up. Just wake up. You don't have to like it. You can still continue with your thought process if you want to believe it's a conspiracy theory. But whatever those theories are, right, wrong, or indifferent, doesn't change the outcome of this and doesn't change what it's doing. And that is what we all need to remember. And unfortunately, because people don't listen when their governments have said, hey, please stay home, keep your social distancing. And they're not talking about forever, but in order for these viruses to die, when you realize that they stay on surfaces for days, weeks at a time, this is why those precautions are put into place. It's not to keep you from having fun. It's not to keep you on draconian lockdown, but it's to keep this thing from spreading out of control too quickly. And that is what you have to look at it from a different perspective, and maybe it might be easier to process and handle. Here in Colorado, it's like, on the one hand, it's like our governor's like, you're like, yay, you're right on top of it. Good, you're doing a good job. And then right out the other side of his mouth, you're like going, wow, that was pretty stupid. So, none of us are going to be, probably the brightest bulb in the box all the time when it comes to this. But, if your city, if your county, if your country, if anybody is saying to you, suggesting that, stay home unless you really have to go out and go shopping, then stay home. But it's those who don't, which has caused, National Guards having to come in, people's military having to come in, the police having to come in, because adults can't seem to get it, And what I saw was pretty pathetic. I don't know. People here in Colorado, I'm like, oh my gosh, their priorities are not food. The mayor of Denver, I guess yesterday, went on the news and was listing what was considered essential businesses. And part of the ones that were not essential were liquor stores and the pot stores. And so what does everybody do? They all run to the liquor store and they all run to their pot stores because, they just got to have that toke when they're bored, and they have to have that alcohol, which everybody has been told that alcohol and that type of stuff, smoking pot for fun, when you're doing things recreationally, you're putting these drugs into your body. It's not helping you. And they know that, and they've been telling people, do stuff to be healthy, maintain your health. But no, Coloradans are like, oh, we want our booze and we want our pot and we want our toilet paper. So I don't know. Oh, again, that would not have been my first choice, to run out to the liquor store. Oh my God. And then an update on supplies for food. And again, I hear And I get a lot of flack from some people because I'm still going to stick to this. You people who are panic buying and buying out everything you find on the shelves, stop it. Quit. Your time to be a prepper was a year ago. To prep during a crisis, you are causing the supply chains to completely disintegrate and fall apart. And it's not in you people and the ones who are doing this. You go every single day, and I'm getting this information from people who work in these industries, and more than just one. This is being told to me by so many people who work in large food distribution centers. What else? I don't know what else to call them to keep the names out of these businesses out of the conversation. But so I'm being told this across the board. It is the same people every single day coming in. They're the first ones there every day, and they're buying out all the products every day. They don't care that they're not leaving anything for anybody else. How many cases of ramen do you need? How many cases of canned vegetables do you need? These people are buying thousands and thousands of dollars every day. They buy out everything they can. Walking out of the store every day, 2, 3, 4 shopping carts full. Not okay. And then now people are starting to get their panties up in a twist because the government is now saying, if you're hoarding food, we're coming to get it. Well, you know what? They damn well need to. Our industries and these food processing plants can only put out so much a day. If a facility can only make at maximum capacity 15 cans per minute, that's all it can do. But when these people are buying at a rate of 500 cans per minute, do you see the problem? Stop the hoarding. That is hoarding. That's not preparing. That's not putting out a little extra for a couple of weeks, 2, 3, not even 4 weeks. You know, that you would understand. You know, okay, 2, 3 weeks, I get that. Yeah, you want that set aside because these other facilities, because of people like that, are causing things to completely shut down and just break. I know a truck driver I spoke with the other day, and I asked them, and I said, okay, I've been hearing a lot about food shortages, and people are saying that there's no food coming in and no food being brought to the stores. And they said the same thing that my contacts that work in the unnamed food distribution facilities were telling me. They're like, are you kidding me? They said, we're so busy. We are driving 24/7, but we can't keep up with what's happening. People, you are going to be the cause of your own demise by your greed, your panic, and your selfishness. You are going to be the cause of someone else's demise because of your greed, your panic, and your selfishness. Stop it. Stop. What is it going to take? You want vegetables? You want canned vegetables? Well, guess what? We're in springtime now here in America. Plant yourself some freaking green beans. Can your own vegetables. Is that hard? No, actually, they grow pretty darn good. Start doing something proactive and helping yourself at the same time while leaving things for your fellow human beings in your communities. You know, it's pretty sad. It's a very sad day in America when our grocery stores, our larger food chain stores, have to set aside an hour or 2 a day so our elderly can get the leftover pickings from what those selfish hoarders are leaving behind. That's pathetic. We're Americans. We can do better than that. And the rest of America, don't put up with that from your neighbors. Don't put up with that from your friends. When you see somebody doing that, say, hey, no. That's not how you behave here. In America, we didn't grow to be who we are based on I'm talking about the average citizen. based on, the old "it's me and to hell with you." It was always taking care of each other. You know, yes, when, bartering at a time when there was nothing else and they didn't have any money, but they needed something else. They bartered, they worked together. Somebody planted this, someone else planted that, somebody would sow this, somebody would create that. That was the America that became such a great nation. But what is happening now? You're tearing us apart. Don't be that person. Just don't. Have a great day.